This day, actually the whole day today, some of the stories that we will be following up for you, developing stories from across the continent, across the globe, and of course in Kenya. Let me bring in our editor, Aaron Ochieng, who's going to be giving us a detailed outlook of what to expect in our news bulletins today. Thank you very much, Aaron, for joining us.
Thank you.
The Quad rally. Johnson Muthama says it's not a political rally.
It is not a political rally, but it is marshaled by politicians. So I am expecting it to have political tones. They may say that they will not engage in politics, but there is a lot of politics that politicians are now engaging into this teacher strike. So as you remember, this is the second rally that has been called, the first one being by trade unions led by COTU. We saw a lot of backlash from the trade unions towards the government. I'm expecting the same thing today. We're expecting lots of rhetoric towards negative rhetoric towards the government in regards to whether or not they have failed to honor the court's decision to award teachers' salary. And as it's turning out, it is turning out to be a matter that we don't know how it will end. The government recently now they revised the term dates for schools, so they've ordered all public schools closed. We don't know how it will end, but of course to throw the spanner into the works is the sentiment by the president that we are not able to pay. So we are following it up. Our own Sharon Mumanyi is there. Nicholas Wambua is also following up the rally. It's slated to start at around 10 o'clock and to be addressed majorly by the CORD leader Raila Odinga. But
Aaron, you know, the question is, what is the end game? Because, you know, it's very easy to have a rally and call people to come, but what impact do you think actually to have any sort of impact on this whole issue?
Yes, it will, because now it is turning out to be, it is a public problem. Yes. It is a public problem. And being opposition members, they're supposed to check on what government is doing. It is just to rally the people, to force the government or to push the government to come up with a solution into the whole teachers issues. So as a matter of fact, they have a role to play into this as members of opposition. They can't sit back and watch because it is something that affects the whole nation. But the essence of all this, it might come out to be they will also be looking for political mileage to show the government that hey, wait a minute, you are not taking us in the right direction. You're not giving the people the mandate that they gave you to be their leader. You're actually leading the country astray.
And we're still around.
Yes. So the fundamental issue is right now, it is the third term, exams are coming. There needs to be a solution in one way or another into this problem.
The other issue obviously is about, you know, CORD saying that, you know, they have their plans to impeach the president. They say that this is not going to be a political rally, but do you think that conversation will find its way into what the leaders will be talking about?
Definitely, because the reason that they're giving for impeaching the president comes from the teachers' saga, because they're saying the courts have given their orders. You as the president, you're not following the orders. It means you are not guarding the constitution as mandated of the president. So they're using that platform to impeach the president, and definitely we are going to see more sentiments in regard to the impending impeachment process by the opposition towards the president.
Maybe finally, in regards to what is going to be happening in Uhuru Park, Ababu Namwamba, his motion to have, you know, salaries reduced by 50%, and, you know, Muturi saying, you know, this is actually, you know, you're trying to get political mileage.
Yes.
And you spoke of political mileage, when, you know, when you're starting your conversation. What is your comment about all this? You know, this is the teacher strike being used by, you know, people like Namwamba to get the masses
to remain politically relevant.
Yes.
Probably that is what.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, it is something that we do not know whether it will. If I go with what the National Assembly Speaker said, is even if we reduce our salaries, or even if we don't earn at all, we don't have laws that specify where this money is going to be going. So we might reduce your salaries and that money might remain somewhere.
Yes.
And his sentiments are also saying that it might not be enough.
Yes, yes.
Cutting the members of parliament salary by half and other state officials, including the president, is just a drop in the ocean from what the teachers want.
Okay.
It may include several others to be able to reach that amount. But as you say, it could be other politicians are using this as impasse to also make political mileage. I do not know even if Namwamba's motion will be able to pass. Not everyone would be comfortable to allow or to endorse a slashing of their salary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So that is definitely a story that we will be covering for you today. We are waiting for that rally to start at Uhuru Park, and we'll definitely take you there for the proceedings there. Now, the other story that we're following is, of course, our neighbors. You know, Tanzania, the elections coming up in less than a month.
Yes.
The poll that was released, was it yesterday or the day before? And you know, the question is, and Ben Kitili was saying this when, you know, he packaged a story that, you know, the elderly are vouching for Magufuli, and then the young people are vouching for Lowassa, and Lowassa coming out and saying, you know, this poll was not accurate. What is your take on that?
Well, I would put Tanzania's position into, I'll compare it to our time in 2002, when the then president Moi was leaving office, and actually Kanu was on the verge of losing an election for the first time. That is what is actually happening in Tanzania. Although the polls that were released yesterday put the ruling party CCM as having an upper hand of the opposition, but quickly, in a rejoinder, the opposition dismissed the polls, saying, okay, we do not know who is behind this, and they were saying CCM could be playing political propaganda just to push the masses to see that actually the opposition is heading nowhere. But from the story of our reporter, our editor in Tanzania, Ben Kitili, it looks like it's a very tight race. Besides what the opinion polls are showing, on the ground it looks like it's a very tight race between Chadema and CCM. And for the first time, CCM is having a run for its money, and they are not very sure whether their candidate will be able to secure. So I think it is regionally, I think we are really concentrating to see what will happen in Tanzania come October 25th.
And, you know, speaking about what is in the manifesto of, you know, Magufuli and Lowassa, what are they vouching for in case, you know, they are elected to be president, any of them? Well,
Magufuli, from what the people are saying on the ground, looks like it's a status quo. The CCM is voting for status quo to remain the way it is. And the Chadema candidate is presenting change. And Tanzanians are saying that for a long time we've been under CCM and we've not been able to prosper. So they're using this. They want to see change, and Chadema is presenting themselves as a meaningful change. Although if you ask me, it is the same way I was saying, is comparing it to Kenya that time. These people were all in CCM, and they only fell out after the nomination of CCM. Of course, having failed to secure the CCM ticket, that is when Chadema fronted the candidate.
That's another story that, of course, Ben Kitili is in Dar es Salaam. He's going to be keeping tabs with the developments there in the run-up to the October 25th election in Tanzania. Another story that, of course, we are going to be following is the UN General Assembly that's taking place in New York. It's the 70th one. And the question is, Uhuru Kenyatta, is he going? Is he not going? Some of us thought that, he had already left.
Well, it is not clear whether the president will attend or not, but from the sources that we have inside State House is saying that the president really wanted to put to rest the issue of teachers first before he could leave the country, and as it is right now, the impasse is still on. So not very sure whether the president will be traveling to New York for the United Nations General Assembly or not. But the reasons that they gave that the teachers issue has to be settled before the president leaves, the way it looks. And if he leaves, it will mean that it will be the second time the president is leaving the country when the teachers are on strike. And probably not a very good show, probably going to rub shoulders with several heads of state. Probably that is the question that most people would be asking him, what is happening in your country? Yeah, you are unable to pay your teachers. He probably something he wanted to finish up with before he goes for that assembly.
And what would be the impact of him not going for the assembly?
I would say this: if he doesn't go, then let's have him take a lead in trying to solve this issue when he stays here, because from the statement that he gave on Sunday night. Was not he did not offer any solution. He actually stuck to his guns and saying we do not have money to pay the teachers. If he stays, if he decides not to go for the General Assembly, let's see more from him.
But will it have an impact on maybe what he could be engaged in or involved in there in New York? Would it have any impact there?
Definitely, because I'm sure whether he confirmed attendance, he must have been put on the program. I'm not sure whether he was to address the assembly at some point, but I'm sure he had scheduled to meet several leaders, and then it will mean that program will have to be interfered with.
All right. Thank you very much, Aaron Ochenga, our news editor, just giving us a breakdown of what you can expect today.